This is the first video of my 73 Camaro that I brought home a few months ago. So I'm going to take the cover off. So this is a 73 LT1. It was a Nova Scotia car all its life. So it has had a bit of rust in it that's been taken out. It'll be a 70-71 clone of a Z28. So it won't be factory numbered or anything like that. So this will be a first look around the car of what's been done and what my next steps are going to be. So the car was painted a number of years ago. It was intended to be a drag car, stock eliminator car. My plan is to put it back in the street and have it as an everyday cruiser, something I can drive on the weekends. So it's been cleaned up pretty well. New inner fenders, new rad support. It's been cleaned and painted in the firewall. It did have an 8-point cage in it that I've removed. Previous owner cut the back seat out, the panel behind the back seat. I'm going to be looking for one of those to replace that. Have a few parts, control arms, rear springs, such that are going to be going in it. They also started changing the car to black interior. It was originally dark saddle. I'm putting it back to dark saddle. I thought that would be a bit different. The trunk or the floor from the back seats back have been all done. So it has new rear trunk. Can't see very well probably in a full good light, but new frame rails. And the rest of the floor is pretty solid. A few little spots where there's some hangers and things on it that I'll fix. But for the most part, it was pretty solid. There, I got a little better lighting to see the underside of the hood. It's been cleaned up pretty nice. I am going to clean up. My next step is to take the upper control arms out. That one has a little pinhole where the dirt sat in it. So I'm going to weld that up. Probably skim them with a little bit of fiberglass body fill just to make them look a bit better. And that one is in good shape, I just have to skim it. The bottoms are in good shape. There is a bit of work already done since I brought the car home. There are some race car parts on it, front control arms that were drag race control arms. There was a 12-bolt drag race rear end under it with a spool, which wasn't good for the street. So I did get a 10-bolt out of a 73 Camaro. That'll do for now. So I'm going to clean up the front control arms. I need to put springs in the front and back. I need to buy a set of springs for the back. Those are just loaners to make it a roller for now. And basically I'm going to clean the underside, seal it, coat it with truck bed liner, and then repaint it. And I'm just going to leave the underside all black where it's a driver or a cruiser. Make it easy to fix up rock chips or to keep it clean on the other side instead of making it body colored. It's not going to be a show car. The car was originally a brown bronze root beer color. I believe it had a black top. And the last person that did the body work on it, they did a good job. Got rid of the vinyl top and painted it red from the root beer brown. There's a few little chips in it here and there, just from working with other people that worked in the garage with it, on it. Little mistakes happen once in a while, with a ding in the door. Nothing serious I'm not going to be able to fix. I'm probably going to put a rear tail pan in it or fix around the lights. These get rust around the lights and around the chrome trim rings. Eventually it's going to get a new set of front fenders and a new nose also, but I think I'm going to keep it as a full bumper instead of a split bumper. It does have new doors. what color the car will be. It may stay red for now, just so I can get it on the road. I want to do a good job at it and get it on the road, but it's not exactly the color I want, and everything won't be exactly as I want it the first time I get it running. It may go back to the root beer brown, but with black stripes to keep it like a Z28. There's a dark forest green with black stripes in the tan interior that I think would look really good, so it'll be one of those two. I'm planning to make it a 4-speed car, put a Muncie in it, and it wasn't automatic. And I have a source of a 400 small block that I think I'll put in it. I kind of want to keep it as the old school 1970s era parts. I considered a TKX 5-speed. It'd be nicer to drive, but I think I want to keep it as the Muncie and what was originally came in that car at that time. I'm just going to take the control arm off on this side and get ready to weld it. I think they're only hand tight, so it shouldn't be too bad. See if I can keep from banging the paint, because it's going to happen more than once probably. So my concern is that I may have a pinhole in this upper control arm. In fact, I know that I have a pinhole in this upper control arm, but it's not a very big one. And the rest of the control arm is very solid. I know you might be able to see it. Small hole right there. So I will eventually put new control arms on it. But to get it on the road, this one I already sandblasted it. I just want to see if there's any other bigger holes. The rest of that is actually very solid. Just one spot that has a little bit of a pinhole in it. There's just some mud and such. These are the original control arms off the car, and it's 52, almost 53 years old, so I just want to clean that up, and I'll use my MIG welder and fix the hole at least. And then I'll just put a little tiny skim of body fill on it, fiberglass actually, but I may not even put fiberglass on it. I don't really like doing that in a control arm, but I may just make it look a little bit better. Just clean up the control arm. This will probably be noisy. Rest of that control arm's in good shape actually. One small pinhole. Crazy. I'm just going to get set up my MIG to weld that little spot and then clean it up with my air file. I don't have enough power in this garage to run more than one 220 piece of equipment at a time, so I have to switch between my MIG and my compressor, but that's okay. connection through the paint to my ground, but we'll see. I kind of doubt it, but. Actually went quite well. Worked very well. You can see I'm not very good at the camera yet, or maybe won't be, but you can see that little spot right there. I did burn it in pretty good to seal that hole. The hole got a little bigger, not surprisingly, but it wasn't even barely a quarter of the size of the head of an eraser, so it was fine. But I'll get ready to clean it up and probably put a little bit of paint on it first, let it dry, and then I'll body fill it afterwards. This is the other side of my branch, I guess. The Camaro's on the first bay. The second bay I use more as a workshop, or one of our vehicles gets stored in here in the winter too. Keep the salt off it. Eastwood frame paint works really well. I sandblasted the upper and lower control arms. What else did I sandblast? That might have been it on this. I gave them some really, upper and lower control arms. And the spindles. And I gave them a really good coat of the Eastwood frame paint. And it works really well. Sticks really well to bare metal and protects it. I'll be using that on the underside of the car. I also bought some rust converter, just for anywhere that on the floor that has any little spots of rust on it that are hard to get off at all. I'll make sure I seal them with that first before I spray it. I'll be able to take air file and just smooth it out. And this should work pretty well, actually. I need to plug my compressor back in. I will pause once in a while to let the compressor catch up because it's noisy, but it's going to be noisy. The air file takes a lot of air. It's just a cheap Amazon air file, and the belts wear out very quickly that came with it. So I got to change the belt. But I'll keep going. but is what it is. I'm really close to having this where I want it, and then I'll clean up the backside a little bit. A new belt certainly makes a world of difference. Once they're worn out, they won't work very well. Better view of the cleanup of the control arm. It turned out pretty nice. It was actually just a really tiny pinhole. When I was sandblasting the control arms and I first saw that, I almost stopped and decided to throw them out and buy a new set. But someone convinced me just to clean them up and fix it. When I welded, it's just the weld through to show that it came through nicely. So I'm going to be able to clean that up. I use a Nason's, basically a gun cleaner, or I think it's a lacquer cleaner. I clean my guns with that and my spray guns and most of the parts before I spray them. It takes a lot of contaminants off. So I'm going to clean that up next, put a few tools away, and get ready to spray. I always try my best to remember to cover that up before I start doing anything in here because it gets so dusty. I'm very afraid of sparks getting into the paint and making it even worse, which can happen, especially to me. I do have a bit of a temporary paint booth that I made in this garage also. So I have that up in the wall with zippers in the corner. So I can drop that down. It more just keeps the overspray off the rest of the garage. I do have some fans and filters set up, but it's not clean and it's not dust free, that's for sure, but it's better than not doing that. And for me, I'm not a trained body man or painter. I just like doing it. I like doing my own work, so yeah. There, there's that little spot where I welded through, you can kind of see. Which was a good weld, just penetrate all the way. So it's gonna clean that up also. So I continue grinding the back side and clean it up before I clean these for painting with the Eastwood. What's it called? Rust Encapsulator Plus. I really like it. It worked really well the last few times I used it. I can't see the camera, so I'll turn around a little bit and see if that helps. Be able to see a lot better. Really? pretty good. I'll clean up. I'll spray those off, and I'm gonna turn the video off and put the heat back on in here and get things warmed up a little bit. That paint will dry a little bit better. Fill that up again. All right. Fill up my spray bottle again. I like the Nason's. It's a universal lacquer thinner. I use it to clean my guns and usually clean whatever it is that I'm painting. See, take the paint off really well when it's on your hands or on things you don't want it on. It cleans the gun pretty well. It's a lot less expensive than a reducer, which I used to use a long time ago for cleaning up my guns and that, but it's expensive, and I found this actually works a little bit better and doesn't cost as much. So I'm just going to clean the dust and stuff off of these and put just a bit of a light coat or two on the spots that I welded and ground. And then after I body fill these a little bit to smooth them, get some of the rough bumps out of them, I'll spray the whole thing again black and make it a good frame black with the Eastwood black. All right, I'm just gonna use, I like this Rust Encapsulator Plus. It's a little bit more expensive. I order it from the US, usually 4 or 5 cans of it at a time, but I really like it. It does a good job. Sticks well, and it seems to keep the rust off pretty well also, or keeps it from coming back. I've used their rust converter once or twice. It works really well also. So I have a old Sierra that I'm also working on. I plan to do the whole frame in it one day. But for now, I'm just gonna put a little bit on the spots that I welded. Protect it a little bit before I skim it with some fiberglass body fill. I think that's going to be it for today. Until the next video.